Still Breakfast Extra here. Now let's talk about this. Nigeria's youth population remains its greatest asset and its loudest frustration as well. Now, while young people dominate the streets, social media and also voter statistics, their influence within formal political structures remains very limited. Our recent political crisis, including the Rivers impeachment drama, which we just spoke about, have again highlighted a gap between youthful energy and real decision-making power. The question is no longer whether young people are interested, but whether the system is designed to include them meaningfully. So, joining us to have this conversation, I have with me, joining us via Zoom, Arthur Ugochukwu, Zonal Secretary, PDP, Imo State, and also we have joining us, Honorable Aigo Buravien Igodala. Thank you very much for joining us, Honorable. He's a member representing Ovia Northeast 1 constituency, Minority Leader, Edo State House of Assembly. Gentlemen, you are welcome. Let's start.
Good morning, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Igodala.
For having me.
You're welcome. Mr. Igodala, let's start with you. I'm wondering why youth participation still feels symbolic rather than structural in Nigeria. Can you give us that answer?
Yes, youth participation is very limited, troubling so, and it is disheartening that the youth are not participating enough in politics. But I put that a lack of participation squarely at the door of the youth. Our youth have decided to engage in politics of support rather than participation. They have not actually bring out themselves enough in spite of the legal regime that have made it possible for young ones to participate in political, by way of election in political office. Our people have been so withdrawn with this lack of trust in the system. But you cannot run away from participating because you lack trust in the system, and thereby giving the other persons that you do not trust a free day to carry on as if you do not exist or you do not matter. I would urge younger people to show more interest in contesting for election, because even these young people, we do not even vote enough. The last time young people actually came out to vote was during the 2023 presidential election. And the apathy that followed after the desire for a particular candidate did not materialize was very loud in the negative. So I want to urge people to participate by way of contesting, that means young people now, by way of participating in election from the councillorship position to the presidential position. There's too much layback, too much I don't care, too much it is not possible. I want to say that it is possible if you dare. And daring is the only way to solve this problem of youth exclusion from governance of Nigeria.
Now, Mr. Igodala, I'm wondering exactly how you mean when you say that youths are not daring, because it seems like the system is rigged up against them when you look at how hard and how difficult or expensive it is to actually participate in politics. I don't know if you agree with me. Arthur, don't you agree? I mean, if you look at the situation, the entire youth population is the largest in Nigeria, but when you juxtapose that with our political system, you find out that there is very little representation there. Do you think that it's rigged against the youth, Arthur?
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me this morning. And I want to agree with you totally. Because if you look at the Nigerian youth demography, we have about, we have well over 60%. Over 60% of Nigerian youths below the age of 35. That is, in fact, that is a figure that is on record. Nigeria is actually a young country among the world nation because of our youthful strength. So with this, our youthful demography, it is very difficult to keep the youths aside as regards to policy and decision making. The youths are not just critical stakeholders In fact, every policy of the government should at least focus on the youth based on our population. If you have 100% and then out of that 100, over 60% are made up of people below 35 years of age, you should put a signal to the government and to the government that this particular population should not be taken for granted. I will not agree that the youths are not showing interest in leadership, but I will agree that the system has made it so that the youth will be discouraged in so many ways. And I will have examples to that. I come from a state, from Imo State. Election happened sometime last year, 2023, council election. For the first time in over almost 20 years, youths came out to participate in that election. People came out to buy form. The government in the state, the APC government, discouraged the youth by selecting, instead of organizing or arranging for a proper election to be done, instead of arranging for proper primaries to be done, they wrote names of their preferred persons, put them on the ballot. On the day of election, materials did not come. That's a hatchet system. It's a system that is bent on destroying the and most of the people that came out to participate in that election for over 20 years, we've never had a council election. So those youths came out to at least have a field day to feel themselves in as little as councillorship. And the names were written in the government house, and that was very, very discouraging on the part of the youth. So it's not because the youth are not interested. It's not because the youth are chasing shadows. No. The youth are ready to stand and make their voices be heard. But the system has strangled them to the extent that they are losing hope in the country. Look at unemployment rate in Nigeria. It's part of the things that is affecting the youth from getting by. You graduate from the university, you will not find a job. They will want to give you to come and maybe somebody advertises a job for you to come and apply. They will put the experience for 10 years. How can somebody who graduated 2 years ago have 10 years experience to qualify to get a job? So the system is skewed against the youth. But that notwithstanding, we're not going to fold our hands and watch things go the way they are going. I have been of the opinion, I've been of the view that the youths must not sit back and allow food to be put in their mouth. You must sit up and be counted. You must wash your hand first so that you'll be called to the dining table. I lead a very strong youth organization in Nigeria that has been advocating for this, for youth inclusiveness in government, so
I
that
think
we
you
can
just said
bridge
the word.
that particular gap.
Arthur, you just said the word that I was hoping that you weren't going to say, because here in Nigeria, we have a very big advocative youth population. Frustration begets advocacy. Advocacy seems like visibility when it comes to youth power, but it doesn't translate into formal political office or political effort by the youth. And I'm wondering exactly what has to change before advocacy becomes formal political power for the youth. What must happen?
Well, what must happen? What must happen is that the youths will have to, at all cost, at any point in time, in fact, against all odds, to raise their head against the system that is working against them. First of all, I was trying to say earlier that I was leading a youth organization that says the name of that organization is Leaders of Today Global Youth Forum. First of all, we must remove that mentality that we're leaders of tomorrow. So we started that amplification of the youth voices by saying that the youths are not leaders of tomorrow, because the tomorrow they say is promised to no one who is not prepared for it. So we expect the youth to take up the challenge that we are now leaders of today, not tomorrow, so that you can remove that mindset that tomorrow is coming to you. When the people that are working against you have told you since 65 years of Nigerian independence that you are leader of tomorrow, and that tomorrow seems not to come. So if you remove that mindset, that will have to start with mental reorientation. So when you change that mindset that you are not expecting any tomorrow to come, you're not expecting any kickback, any 5,000 from any politician in the next election to decide whether you want to run or whether you want to vote who is right or who is not right, that will be our first stepping stone. Okay. Because most times the youth sit back. They don't want to participate because they think or they feel that the system is going to work against them, or they feel that INEC is not going to conduct free and fair election. But you must step out, first of all, to see that happen. Yes, we agree that the system is against the youth in Nigeria. I agree that with all honesty. If we begin to change our mindset as the youth and begin to see that this thing is not how it is, that we need to sit up and do that which we have not done before, that will give us what we actually expect.
Mr. Ighodalo, I don't know if you agree. How can the youth actually transform that protest power, that online advocacy power to real, actual political power? Do you have any suggestions?
will come from a very practical point of view as a present member of the Edo State House of Assembly and as a participant in politics and these very workings in this state since 1999. I will agree. I will be dishonest if I say that there are no hurdles to becoming an elected member. I'm emphasizing election now, participation in election as contestants, not as voters. I will not say that there are no hurdles, but again, is there any endeavor in human life that you don't have challenges?
Can we take the Edo State system? Can we take the Edo State system
for level of energy?
Can we take the
if we put the level of energy we put into advocacy on social media, if we put the level of participation we put into pursuing clout in the social media, if we prepare ourselves the way we do when we are looking for a job in banks and other organizations, if we as youth apply ourselves to political participation the way we do in the pursuit of our education in the various higher institutions of learning, we will triumph. The fact is that most youths come into the issue of politics with this sense of despair that, oh, it will not happen, they will not allow it happen. Please, like I used to tell my friends, you cannot be talking about death until you are born. You have to be on earth first before you start talking about
yes. Just a second. I wanted to take a sample from the Edo State instance where you belong, where you operate as a politician yourself. First of all, can I define you as a youth? Are you a youth? And if you are, how many of you are in that entire system, if you're going to give a percentage? And how does the system encourage the youth to actually participate? If you can tell us in detail, maybe we'll understand where you are coming from when you say the youth are the ones who are lackadaisical.
I will not qualify as a youth today because I'm approaching 50, but I started off as a youth.
Okay.
And I remain focused and I fought on until results was gotten. In my House of Assembly, we have a fair representation of the youth bracket. Of the 24-member House of Assembly, I'm sure not less than 9 of them will qualify as youths. But be that as it may, I agree that there are hurdles to be surmounted. I agree that nobody is making it easy for the youth. But what I'm saying is that the youth are not doing enough to make those things happen, because the youth demography in Nigeria has the power to actually determine who becomes what. And each time the youth have actually risen up to say, this is what we want, they've always gotten it, but they have not said that as far as political participation is concerned. They have left the issue of governance to those that are interested, haven't condemned it as a matter, a no-go area, a sector that is populated by corrupt people, in quotes, and the people who do not mean well for the people, so will not do anything with them. What I'm saying is this: if the youth actually arise today, the way they do on social media, if you see when they bring up comments, when they bring up issues of national interest, and the way they pursue it, the level of views that are expressed, the level of innovation, the level of intellect that are expressed over things that I will say in quote mundane, you will be surprised that why are they not channeling this energy to the very core issue that determines their existence, that determines their growth, that determines what they are going to eat tomorrow and how they are going to sleep today.
Okay then.
So many people, so many youths, I dare say, are not interested about government. And that is what we cannot emphasize too much.
Okay,
we must beg people to come out from their cocoon and participate in elections.
All right,
people should be able to go to their various wards.
All right,
they should be able to participate at their local government level and even at the state level to determine who rules them and who governs them.
Thank you, Agubarivian. But let me just real quick. Arthur, do you qualify as a youth and do you agree, real quick, in summary, what you think about Agubarivian's comments just now?
Yes, I qualify as a youth.
There you go.
And I believe that a democracy that listens to its youth secures the future. Well, the government has a lot to do in making sure that the youths are carried along. I want to use the bill that they passed sometime, Not Too Young to Run bill. When they passed that bill, I was not so much impressed. Because if you had said not too young to lead, I would agree with that. Take, for instance, you come to House of Representatives now, or you come to the State Assembly, you ensure that a certain quota must be allocated to the youth. That is certain. You ensure that, like we have in political parties, we have offices reserved for youth leaders. You make sure that those that are in that office are strictly youth of a certain age or within the age of youth demography. But even in some political parties, you will see 70-something, 80-something years old being in the position that is meant for the youth. You see the Minister of Youth not qualified as a youth. So these are part of the school system, I say, that are working against the youth demography in Nigeria. So if it becomes a thing of policy that whoever that must be a Minister of Youth must be below the age of 35, you are then encouraging the youth. You are giving them a ladder to climb.
All right. Thank you very much, Arthur. We are out of time, but I actually do like your submission there, and I'm wondering whether Agubarivian agrees to that, a quota specific for youth of a certain age inside of the House instead of growing old with it. But thank you very much, gentlemen. I did enjoy this conversation. I do remember advocating for that bill, not too young to run, a couple of years ago, and it was a very interesting process. Once again, thank you very much. We do hope that we find a democracy that actually does not sideline the youths, because that risks stagnation. The challenge is not passion, it's actually access. If you give the youths access, I'm sure the design, well, it'll design itself. Thank you very much.